Hello, Lloyd. How are you today?
Fine, Kimberly, and how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing good to see you too. I'm doing okay. We're going to talk about the new year that's coming up, 2026. I know everybody's been waiting for this year. I sure have been. I'm excited about 2026. And we know today you're going to let us know what's in the mix for 2026. Before we get into 2026, I want to hear about your 2025. How was the year of the nine for you?
Well, for me, it was pretty right on point. For example, nine is a cycle of terminations, which I did in this thing situation, one thing or another. But nine also represents fulfillment of dreams, which some of the things that have happened that I was able to see someone fulfill a dream since childhood. Those kinds of things was very rewarding. Nine also is the energy of long distance trip. I had an opportunity to go to London. First time I'd ever been there. A wonderful experience. So the nine was very good for me. And then I understand the sage of the nine to avoid any arguments or confrontations or let things go. But things that we have to put aside and see, when they say endings, it not only just means people or situations, bad habits, negative ways of thinking and doing, anything that doesn't kind of advance us forward, it means it's the time to let go. But at the same time, it needs to be motivational, inspirational, and bring out the best in people that you see for this in your world. And you?
You had a busy year, nine. Your 2025 sounds very, very busy. My year of the nine was busy too. And as you said, there are a lot of things that I've experienced that was all nine related, endings, closures, and a lot of the things were well, all of the things were transformative. I knew that whatever happened in the nine season, whatever left, that there was something that was going to replace it, and somewhere dreams would be fulfilled. And so I did experience some of those dreams being fulfilled. And I feel like I was a humanitarian in my very own way this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah.
What do you think about let's talk about the United States and the year of the nine. I know last year when we did this forecast, we were talking about some things that we might could expect this year. Did you see some of those things?
Ironically, I was reviewing our 2025 forecast. And at that time, we were in the year of the eight. And I explained that eight, which is 2024, and 2025, which adds up to a nine, are both direct oppositional numbers to the United States. And there have been a lot of things, high unemployment, as you know by now. And it's so interesting because when I was reviewing the 2025 forecast, I was explaining that how toward the end of the year, they're laying off tons of people. Well, fast forward, the same thing is happening there. But I'm not just talking about the guy that works in the warehouse, the guy that delivers packages. These are now white collar jobs, you know? So a lot of people are going to be hurting, but out of it comes blessings. It all depends whether you roll over and play dead or whether you get up off your rusty dust and say, I'm going to do something. And as a result, you watch more businesses will be formed, more business people will be consulting persons like you for metaphysical guidance, like J.P. Morgan has reached out to Evangeline Adams in her day, a famous astrologer, and she taught him astrology. And when asked the question, does astrology make millionaires? He says, no, it makes billionaires. And to this day, although he died in 1913, J.P. Morgan's name still exists in the world of finance. So a lot of people are going to need your services, young lady.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. But a lot of people when we think about the 9 year, and let me just say this because so many people were afraid. And as you said, what this year brought about for us is opening the door for a new path, new things. That's how we've been evolving over the years. And that's the purpose of a cycle. And we have a cycle from 1 to 9. And of course, at that 9 cycle, things are going to end. And I know that for a lot of people, they found that this year, and we said it. I know I said it. This would not be an easy year. I was not expecting this to be an easy year at all, but it would be rewarding because it will clear the path for something better. However, I want to let everyone know, even with this 2026 forecast, it's all about you and your mindset, how you choose to go through the year. Are you embracing the positive things that you can embrace out of that year, or are you holding on to those negative things because you find out that if you hold those negative things, then it will come true for you. So it doesn't matter what the forecasts say if you don't apply it mentally, if you don't change your mindset and make sure that you have a hold on that too. What do you feel about that?
I feel you're exactly right. And that's the beauty of these numerical cycles that we go through. So, yes, 9, the cycle that we're wrapping up, is a cycle of fulfillment of dreams, terminations. But the beauty of entering into 2026 allows everyone, which is why they refer to it as the universal year, to get a fresh start, to take bold initiatives, to launch something new, to lead by example, not ego, to learn how to step out on faith, to do the things that sets them, and to trust your instincts, you know? So there's a lot of positive things opening. The beauty of a 9 cycle is you clean house. You say, okay, I don't need this, I don't need that, don't need you. However, when you start a 1 cycle year, it's like having a clean slate to start with, and you determine what is in your best interest. That's one of the few cycles that we're entering where you have to be intentional, because whatever you start in a 1 cycle year will last you directly or indirectly for the next 9 years. So let's say you got somebody that call you all the time working your nerves. If you allow it in a 1 universal year, expect it to kind of go until the 9 year cycle is in. Let's say you have a person that wants to move and they may not have the resources or wherewithal. And so, but as long as you plant the seeds, because see, 1 is about planting seeds, that ask the question, can I see myself here in the next 9 years? Can I see myself with this person for the next 9 years? If your answers no, you're setting the seeds that through circumstances, through various stages of the 9 year journey, that by the time you reach the other side, you will not have those situations or be in a better situation. So it's just fascinating. I also tell people, when you're in a 1 universal year or 1 personal year, that for those who have been in what are called codependent relationships, circumstances will force them to stand on their own, to see what they can do on their own. So for those freeloaders, or not in a bad way, but you know what I'm saying, those that want to take advantage of other people, some of them are going to be very disappointed. And it's not about being mean. It's almost as if the source, heaven, God, call it what you will, is designing for everybody to make a fresh start in their own individual way. So it's going to be amazing. You got to be assertive but kind. See what I'm saying? Not procrastinate. Don't wait for nobody's approval. And you decide what is in your best interest. That's why I explained, when going into a 1 universal year, which we're entering, it is about not what your folks want, the kids want, the mate wants, the boss wants. This is what KW wants for KW. what LS wants for LS. Now, for people that says that sounds selfish, yes, it is. Because what they don't understanding is you are planting a seed that you hope will grow into a mighty oak tree down the road. So for those who are sincere, if they says, and this is the thing, people will always suggest what you should do, but they're not going to pay the consequences, pay your car note, your insurance, your food, your mortgage, your rent. They can all tell you what to do and leave you out there high and dry. So this year says, don't doubt your abilities, okay? Because we all have within us the spirit of the pioneer. And that's what 2026 is going to do. Not only that, but when you look at the numbers of 2026, every single number is an even number. They're composed of 2s and 6s, which are numbers of counsel, advice, service, things of that nature. The last time the year of the one came where all of them were odd numbers was in 1999. Because 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 equals 28, and 2 plus 8 equals 10. So everybody was going for themselves. But with this being the year of all even numbers, you can't take that attitude. Yes, you look out for yourself, but you also make sure your brethren, your neighbors, or family members are taken care of. But the rule is you cannot help them until you help yourself first, if that makes sense.
It does
And don't
make
ignore
sense.
advice from your mentors.
It does make sense because you just said that Kimberly gets to be selfish next year.
And you a Leo too? And the paper's Leo? You go, girl.
This is going to be a good season. I'm so ready for it. I'm so
A lot of
ready
people are going to
for it.
be too through with you, sister. They're
Two
going to
through.
say, what
Two
has
through.
gotten to her? Think she's
Don't
too big
worry, I
for her
got rid of
britches.
them. What else can we expect?
Well, this, believe it or not, is our third year of doing a yearly forecast. So I figured I'd add a couple of components that were kind of different to kind of make this year forecast a little different. So, for example, each month is going to have a theme. The year for 2026 in and of itself, regardless from the beginning to the end, is independence and self-reliance. It don't mean I don't need you, but create a situation where if everything else fails, you can take care of you. You can rely on you, you know? So so that's the general theme. But each theme within the months from January, December have their own theme. Then I will also include a new moon and full moon, which I never did before. There are also retrograde periods that's going to take place too, all in water signs on February the 25th in the sign of Pisces, on June the 29th in the sign of Cancer, and on October the 24th in the sign of Scorpio. I will be talking about the universal months and the weeks within the months. I'll be talking about which signs are going to do well during that month, what dates will be doing well during that month, the best color to wear for the entire month, the best stone to carry for the entire month, and creating a kind of a almanac along with what cities are likely to be in the news.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. We're going to get to that shortly. What does it mean when you say the year is ruled by Leo?
Well, a good question, because see, each number is assigned to a planet. Each planet is assigned to a zodiac. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 equals 6, and 1 plus 0 is 1, which is a single digit. Because anytime you got more than two numbers, like a person born, say, on the 13th, 1 plus 3 is 4. A person born on the 25th, 2 plus 5 is 7. You got to keep reducing it till you get to one number. It is called the Fadic system, F-A-D-I-C. Well, the root number of 2026 is a 10 or 1. And 1 is governed by the sun of Leo, And there's only one planet that I know that governs one zodiac sign under the sun, and that's Leo. So there are going to be two other signs too, Aquarians, and in a minor way, Aries. But predominantly, those are the ones that go to the head of the class, those born between July 21st, 22nd, 23rd, when they're cusping, all the way through December, August 20th, 21st, 22nd. Those that's in between that period, if you fall within that constellation, I'd have you hold your chest high. I'd have you look for some things on a very high level. I would expect you to, and just not you as a Leo, but all Leos to bring out the best in yourself. After all, you have a chance, because you won't get this chance again until the year 2034. I don't see why you got to wait that long, to be honest with you. Okay. Well, it's actually 2035, because that adds up to a 10. All right. So this is why the beauty of real life is, you know how we're not in the Winston world, we play a game, you get zapped, you start all over again? Well, in the cosmos, in the universe, it don't work like that. So that's why I tell a person, if you don't do it now, and if you can wait till 2035 to do it, then you know something I don't know. And that's what get people going when I put it like that. Because then they realize their time is precious, their time is special. And like in anything, what we do or don't do with our time that makes all the difference in the world. Feel me?
I'm getting mine in this year,
You better.
2026.
I know I plan to get mine in too.
I'm not waiting till then. I'm not waiting till the next cycle. I do have a question. What about those you said that this favors those born on the one or those that are under the signs of Leo who would have to be cautious this year?
You know, I had a feeling you would bring that up, and I was going to skip right over it because they would say, oh, man. But since you asked the question, I would say those under the signs of Capricorn, that's late December, January. Those under the signs of Taurus, that's late April, May. Those under the signs of Libra, which is, shall we say, born late September, October, or born on the 6th or the 8th, and the 15th or the 17th, the 24th, or the 26th of the month. But on the other side of Leo, these are the dates that will do extremely well too, since I left that out. Those born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th or the 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, the 28th, or the 31st. So let's say we got somebody that's an Aquarius and they're born on the 10th. Well, it's going to be a double dewey for them, because not only is it catching their sign, but it's catching one of their dates too. So if you happen to know somebody, Miss Williams, where their sign and their dates are in harmony, you will be my new best friend.
I had to think about that to see if I have any friends that can do that. Yeah. And I want to let people know, well, I'm going to let you let them know when we say that these are cautionary periods for the ones that you name. When we say caution, what exactly does it mean by
Cautionary
caution?
means don't do things unnecessarily risky. Use what is called common sense. It's like when I talked about those three signs that might be challenged, it's not, it's a way of saying that the tide is not actually at their back. Some will have to swim upstream. There will be some exceptions. For example, you could have a Capricorn born on a 1 or 4, a Taurus that's born on a 1 or 4, or a Libra that's born on a date that's the 1st or the 10th, the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, 13th, 19th, 22nd, 28th, to offset it. So it's not a blanket thing. And it just simply means, listen, all of us get a turn. No one is exempt. No one, not from the Most High, okay? Celestially, no one is exempt. It's just that for this year, certain signs get their turns, and certain signs may hit a couple of bumps in the road. That's all. And once they deal with it, and see, then it doesn't throw you off your rhythm. That's like saying every day is a good day. That's like saying the sun don't come out every day, Miss Williams. Okay? I know you because you can't help yourself, but the sun don't come out every day. All right. And it doesn't come out every day for all the signs. But see, during the months, see, we haven't talked about all the individual months. During the individual months, those signs will manifest themselves. Those dates will manifest themselves. But in the broad umbrella of the 1 year, that's how it goes.
And that really brought it home what you said. The sun don't come out every day. So that means, this can't be favorable for everybody this year.
And even
So
Leos will get their bump in the road, although they are the top dog of the signs. But they
yes,
meet with a bump in the road. Aquarius, the next one meet with a bump in the road. That's how life goes. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. Because if we all had a crystal ball, we'd know what to do. I'd never marry you. I'd never deal with you. You know what I'm saying? We would all kind of know what to do. But God in his infinite wisdom says, you know what? I'm going to let y'all figure things out. Some of us do. And unfortunately, some of us never do.
that's an awesome way of putting it. So are you ready to reveal what Leo season has to offer us?
Yes, as I explained, for everyone in general, this is a universal year. So regardless of ethnicity, status, monies, language, everyone goes through this period of kind of wanting to start new, start fresh all over again. But now we're going to go from the whole year into the specific months. And this is where it's going to get a little interesting because each sign eventually will get their turn throughout the year. You just have to be patient, okay? So for January, it's going to be 11 universal month, a month to inspire, a month to function with a higher mind, a month to share wisdom, follow your intuition, increase your meditation. And it's going to be, and the theme, by the way, for January is a higher purpose that every single one of us should try to take it to the next level, not just narrow out thinking, but think about how can I be a better person to myself, my family, my community, or whatever the case may be. There's going to be a full moon on the 3rd of January. There's going to be a new moon on the 18th of the month as well. Now, during this January period, in the first week, a lot of things should be opening up as far as people's career and creativity is concerned. And you will find that a lot of things will begin to kind of manifest itself with that higher purpose. And in fact, your ambition should increase. Then in the second week, this is when one will start getting all of us a sense of doing things with a sense of order and purpose and direction rather than doing things helter-skelter. But going into that third week of the month of January, that's when there's going to be a pivotal change. It's like people will be at the crossroads and they will decide what is best for them. And then also as they go into the final week, for those who are in relationships, for those in a financial way, this is going to be a period of adjustments. And it'll be a time for beautification, a time to go back to school, especially those who may have been laid off or terminated from all this stuff that's going on, to kind of add more skill sets to what they already have. Now, the signs that are going to be favored during the month of January will be Leo, Aquarius, and Cancer, or that will be born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month. Now, the color to be worn throughout all of January, if possible, is opal, the aurora colors, the celestial blues, as well as the starlight silver. the stone to wear or carry. This is for everyone. Now, I always include shungite, and let me explain. Shungite stops these electromagnetic frequencies that go out. So when I do the monthly forecast for each of the signs, but now I'm doing the monthly forecast for everybody included, they should wear a piece of shungite. And with this January, they should wear either a Herkimer diamond, a rainbow quartz, or aura amethyst, or white, okay, or white gemstone. Highlights for this month, for those who want to buy a car, the 7th, the 8th, the 18th, and the 28th should be good for them. For those who want to start a business, the 26th, 27th of January should be okay. For those who want to buy electronics, the 28th is preferred. But if you're trying to break a habit this month, there is no ideal date per se according to the almanac that I use. Now, let's say you want to get your hair cut and you want it to grow. Well, that would be the 1st, the 21st, the 22nd, the 25th, the 28th, and the 31st of the month. Now, let's say your hair is really just growing and you want to cut it to cut down the growth of it. That would be the 4th, the 14th, and the 17th. And let's say you want to ask for a loan this particular month of January because things are tight, then the 25th through the 27th, followed by the 31st, would be the best dates. The cities that are likely to be in the news in some way are likely to be Miami, Salem, Gary, Olympia, and Biloxi, Mississippi. Okay. Next, we're going to look at February. For February, numerically, it adds up to a 12 because 2026 added to the second calendar month will equal 12. Now, the 12 in the tarot is called the hangman. It's a picture symbol of a person hung upside down by their ankle. It means mental suffering and anxiety of mind, that if you are not careful, that me too, that all of us are likely to be at some point the victim or the sacrifice for the plans and intrigues of others. And since the cycle just adds up to a 3 rule, scams and schemes, I would say that if that is on the rise or increase, I wouldn't be surprised at all. So make sure that your name and reputation is guarded. They've got these new AI now that you would think you did something, you don't even know what's going on. They imitate, which is why some of states like the Martin Luther King state had to sue AI people for falsifying false images of Martin Luther King. So it's just being careful. Now, there's a couple of things happening, but the theme this month is upliftment. To raise your sights, to raise your awareness, to raise your kundalini, to take it to the next level. The full moon is on the very first day of February, and the new moon is on the 17th of February. Now, here's what's going to be happening. There's going to be a retrograde taking place near the end of this month of February on the 25th through March the 20th. So try to, for those of you who are trying to negotiate and get contracts and everything signed, try to do it by at least the 18th or 19th, because then you start getting into the shadow effect. But if you wait until February the 25th, well, I would advise you, if possible, try not to sign nothing, put everything on pause, because there is an exception. Let's say you've been negotiating things for months and it's finally come to this point of fruition. I'd say even if you go into it, double check it. Read the fine print. You know, in law, they says the large words added and the small words taketh away. So you do have to read the fine print. This month is also Chinese New Year, the year of the fire horse. Okay? Now, Chinese New Year starts on, and by the way, it's ranked as the 7th in the zodiac sign, the fire horse. Well, that's going to take place from February the 17th through March the 3rd. Here in this country, in the West, it lasts for 16 days. But anybody born from the 17th to the rest of the year, you will be considered in Chinese astrology symbolically a horse, but a fire horse. However, in China, they don't start theirs on the 17th. They start theirs on the 15th. And theirs don't run for 16 days. Theirs only run for 9 days. So theirs is going to start from February the 15th through February the 23rd. So for those of you in the Chinese astrology, by the way, if you happen to be a dog or a tiger or a sheep or dragon or snake or monkey or pig, you will do well, but not so much as if you are a horse. It is your turn. So now that we know that we're in a very creative process, now that we know that this is a time where everybody has to be a little mindful of people trying to take advantage of their name, their goodwill, their resources and whatnot. And it doesn't mean everybody's a crook, but there are some people that are kind of not straight up, you know? So in the first week, it says, get it together, get yourself structured, have a plan, a sense of order and purpose in what you do. Because as you go into the second week of the 8th through the 14th, that's when you get a chance to travel or take a break. And it's so interesting because as a rule, a lot of people like to go to the carnivals in the Caribbeans and take a break, but it all depends on how things are going, okay? But it will be present a week of opportunities for you. As you go into the third week, there's going to be a period of adjustments, a period where you're going to have to really kind of like weigh your options, especially because in a 3 cycle, which is for February, one of the things is going overboard, overindulging, taking things too far. And if you can keep that in mind, it's about striking that balance. And the perfect time to do that is in the third week, which is a symbol of the scale anyway. And plus, it's a romance and finance week too. So one too much of something is sometimes just as bad of other things. But toward the tail end of February, it's going to give you a chance to reflect, to step back, to find that quiet time to listen to that inner guide that we all have, to make your life much easier. Now, who are the signs that are likely to do well during the month of February of 2026? That would be Pisces and Sagittarius, or anyone that's born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. Now, what colors you should wear for everybody, these are the suggested colors for everybody, such as lemon, bright orange, spring green, and tangerine, okay? The stone or crystal to carry is labradorite, heliodor, blue topaz, and tourmaline. Those would be, in addition to always have shungite, as it cuts back on the EMF or electromagnetic frequencies that go out when you watch TVs and phone and all that stuff, okay? As for the almanac, the best time to buy a car in February will be on the 4th, the 13th, the 14th, and the 23rd of the month. To start a business, that would be the 22nd. But to buy electronics, though, there's no really ideal date. But if so, definitely make sure you get it before the 25th, before Mercury goes into retrograde, because more than likely, you'll buy the worst car on the lot, the worst computer on the rack in the store. So try to make sure if you do that, you do it way before then. Now, let's say you want to break a habit. That will be on the 12th, the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th of this month to do so. Let's say you want your hair to grow because it's short and you want to lengthen it. Well, February the 21st to the 24th, as well as the 27th, would be ideal time to do so and ideal dates. But let's say you want to slow your hair down. Well, between the 19th to the 13th is great, as long as the 17th and the 18th will do it. Now, let's say you want to ask for a loan. Well, I'd say the first is ideal. Now, he's got the 21st through the 23rd, but let me tell you this. You're getting real to the edge of Mercury retrograde, which means that if you sign or ask for a loan, man, there might be higher interest or a catch or a codicil, something to make life comfortable, complicated, and especially on the 28th. But those are the dates. But for me, I would not ask for a loan no later than, say, the 18th or the 19th. I'd let that day spread because you're in what is called the shadow effect of Mercury retrograde. And Mercury is a planet that is ruled communications, misunderstandings, mishaps, things of that nature. You need to kind of keep that in mind. The cities that are likely to do well or come in the news in some way are Toledo and Flint, Newark, Yuma, and Memphis, Tennessee. Next, we're going to take a look at March. Now, as we know, March will be in, first of all, March is going to be a full universal month. The theme for March is stability. For everybody to have some sense of order about them, to kind of have their stakes in the ground, to not have them wobbly or things of that nature. This is for everybody. Yet the degree indicates allowing for the unexpected, the unforeseen, something that's kind of like, where did that come from? But if you play your cards right and keep your plans to yourself and don't tell anybody, the stability you set will probably take hold. On the 3rd of March will be the full moon. On the 18th of March will be the new moon, okay? And since it is a full universal month for March, it means in the first week, you got a chance to make a break, to kind of break from the doldrums, to kind of explore your options, to begin to kind of like promote and advertise yourself in terms of how you want to do things. Now, in the second week, it might be a little conflict. So it means, especially if there are matters dealing with your finances or dealing with relationships, it is a time where if things seem to be, and don't forget, Mercury is retrograde through March the 20th. So if all of this is still happening, especially in that second week too, from the 8th through the 14th, I would not weigh everything on what somebody says. Romance, I keep those things fluid. Monies, I keep things fluid. And so now, it don't mean that people aren't well-intentioned, because it is a 4. It is about stability. But at the same time, with Mercury from the 25th of February now into much of March, for the 21st 20 days, I take everything with a grain of salt. If it happens, beautiful. If it don't, hey, what you gonna do, okay? In the third week, though, you get a chance to back up, to kind of get it together, to kind of see things through another set of eyes which are more spiritual or intuitive. It's going into that last week of the 22nd to the end of the month that now you'll have a chance to, because now you'll be out of retrograde, you'll be in the shadow of retrograde from the 21st through the 28th. But it means that anything that deals with romance from your past, be mindful. Finances or debts that seem to occur, be mindful and handle them accordingly. Now, who is likely to do well during the month of March? That would be Aquarius, Leo, and Gemini. Or if they're born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th to 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month, they're going to do well. Now, the color, the predominant color throughout the month of March will be olive, forest green, mahogany, and sepia. As for the stone to wear or carry over and above, shungite. Shungite goes, listen, whenever I do my forecast, I always include shungite because these TVs, these cell towers, everything is emanating all these frequencies. Well, shungite is one of those stones out of Russia that offsets it, so it would be good. So the stones to wear or carry over and above that is hematite, smoky quartz, emerald, and aventurine. Those would be the ones. Now, as for the highlights, you want to buy a car in March? Well, the 4th, the 12th, the 14th, the 23rd, and the 31st would be a time. Now, for me, knowing that the 4th, the 12th, the 14th, Mercury is still in retrograde, I would not but listen, this is me. But what I'm saying is there's no accident. And don't take my word for it. Look up some of the things that happen when Mercury goes in retrograde, when there's miscommunications. I thought you said this. No, I thought you said that. You said meet me at this time. No, you said meet me at that time. So if you want to buy a car, those are the dates. But I would say I'd wait till the 31st, okay? when you like 13 days out of that Mercury ending on the 20th of March to do so. But it's your choice. But these are what the almanac says. Now, you want to start a business? That's the 22nd and the 30th. But I wait until the 30th because you'll be in the shadow of Mercury retrograde up until the 20th. So electronics, there's no ideal date, but that would be very right. Now, let's say you want to start or break a habit. That would be the 12th of March and the 14th through the 16th. Let's say you want to make your hair grow. That would be the 21st through the 24th, followed by the 27th. But let's say you want to slow it down, okay, because it's going too fast. That would be the 9th through the 13th, the 17th, and the 18th as well. Now, there are opportunities to ask for a loan, which is the 1st and the 2nd, the 21st through the 23rd, and the 27th through the 29th. Here again is very important, only because Mercury will be retrograde from the 25th of last month through the 20th of this month of March. And these dates of the 1st, the 2nd, the 21st through the 23rd, I kind of like wait until the 27th, 28th, or 29th. That way there's no catches, you can maybe get lower premiums, all depending on your credit score, whatever the case may be. Now, the cities that are likely to do well are Erie, Anaheim, Durham, North Carolina, Mobile, and Mesa, Arizona. Next is April. Now, what do we have for the month of April? Well, in April, it will be a 5 universal month. The theme is crossroads. Let me explain. You know, in numerology, there's a 1 and a 9. Well, dead center is what they call the turning point. It's like being in a fork in the road, and you've got to decide at this crossroads, should you go left or right? Should you go forward or backwards? But the point is you have a decision to make. And in this crossroad, it's about making a decision that is best for you because it's still in one universal year. So it's not what your friends want. It's not what your associates want. It's not what the lovers and the kids and everything want. I mean, it's good for them, but how can you help them if you don't have your house in order? Well, April will allow you the chance to say, okay, I want to go in this direction rather than that direction, no matter how, and you know, people do mean well, but at the same time, if it goes wrong, they're not going to pay the consequences. You will, okay? So there's going to be the full moon on the very first day of April, and then on the 17th will be the new moon. In the first week, it tells me the crossroads will be about your personal life, your finances, your health, your education. That's going to be very important. Which direction do you want that to go? In the second week of the 8th through the 14th, it's going to allow you to determine what do you want to do with your life. This is when you want to step back. More than likely, you probably want to take a trip somewhere, to go somewhere where there's the sand, the sea, and the sun, and kind of get away from everybody, to kind of figure out what in the world you're doing, what kind of changes do you meet, and what kind of crossroads are you at in your life. There could be a crossroad of health, a crossroads for relationships, careers. Everybody's got their own little crossroad that they're going to have to decide. In the third week of the 15th to the 21st, there's going to be a crossroad about your decisions, about finances. How is that going? Can it be improved? Can you make it more opportune to do the things you want to do? And it also deals with people from your past. It's going to be a legacy week too, where you do a lot of growing up. And don't be surprised if you connect with people you haven't seen I call it a New York minute because I'm from New York, okay? But in the end, which is the last week, that's going to give you an opportunity to really travel, to spread your wings. And if you can, depending on your resources, financially especially, and opportunities, if so, it'll be nice to get away, to take a trip, a weekend trip. If you can, take even longer distance trip. But the point is fulfill your dreams and at the same time, begin to eliminate anything that has been a block in your crossroads to make your life better. Now, who is likely to do well during the month of April? They're likely to be Geminis and Virgos, or people born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of the month. Now, the color to wear throughout all of it is cyan, ocean blue, Caribbean blue, and electric indigo. Those would be the colors that all of us can wear if you can get your hands on it. Caribbean blue sounds good for me, so maybe I'll try to see what I can do in April. But as far as the crystal or stones to carry, over and above shungite, that should be Lorimar, it should be agate, kyanite, and angelite. Those would be the stones to wear or carry during the month of April. Now, the best time to buy a car in April will be the 10th and the 20th. And then for those who want to start a business, it will be on the 18th and the 27th of the month. Now, let's say you want to get some electronics, a gadget, a gizmo, a computer. That will be on the 20th and the 28th. To break a habit, the 10th through the 13th is ideal, followed by the 15th. Then if you want to let your hair grow like weeds, that's the 17th through the 20th, as well as the 23rd. And then let's say you're saying, okay, enough is enough. I need to cut back and slow it down. That would be the week of the 5th to the 9th, as well as the 14th. And for those that wish to secure or ask for a loan, that would be through the 17th through the 19th, followed by the 23rd through the 25th. Now, the cities that are likely to be outstanding during the month of April will be Chicago, Meridian, Huntsville, Vancouver, Anchorage, okay? Those would be the ones. Now, what about May? Well, the word for May is, first of all, the theme is about commitment, okay? It'll be a 6 universal month. How did I do that? I put 2026, added the 5th calendar month, that gave me 15. Now, 15 is called money, gifts, and favors from others. And then it's in the sign of Taurus, which rules the second house, which is the house of possessions. So that means that everybody at the sound of my voice should be trying to get some ducats up in there, okay? Try to see what money, gifts, and favors will come to you, and not in a selfish way. Just, of course, it's in a one universal and you got to look out for yourself. But don't forget it's one thing to look out for yourself, and it's another thing to ignore everybody. Don't do that. Make a commitment. That is the theme. If you're going to say you're going to do something, be a person of your word. If you say you're going to be there, be there. If you make a promise, for those who follow, the month will be perfect. I don't care what sign you are. And because that is one of the luckiest months, that's why the New York Stock Exchange was founded in the month of May. Okay? And when the stock market is doing well, they say that it is bullish. Well, what is the symbol of the sign of May? Or Taurus, which is a bull. There's going to be, and here's the thing about May that makes it unique. May is going to be a blue moon. You ever heard that, once in a blue moon? What that means is there's going to be a full moon on the 1st of May and the very last day of May on the 31st. That rarely happens. In fact, that's the only month this year in which there's a blue moon effect on the very first day of May, on the very last day of May. So that once in the blue moon will definitely occur in the month of May. As far as the new moon is concerned, that's on the 16th. Well, let's go into the weeks. Well, since it's about commitment, the first week is a 7 reflective week, so make a commitment to yourself. Make a commitment to really search yourself and be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you can run from people, but you can't run from yourself. And you will find that if you can do that, by the time you come out of that week, going into the second week, which is a money week and relationship week, you should have more clarity, a crystal way of looking and thinking. But in that second week, with the 8th through the 14th, you try to go all full throttle in terms of getting what you want to secure. It's not at the point of taking advantage of other people, but doing the best you can for yourself. It's going to be a time where you're going to be connecting with your past, a time where you want to make some major moves. And because the cycle that you're in for May and the week you'll be in that second week will allow you to do well, not only financially, but perhaps romantically as well, too. As you go into the third week, though, travel is indicated, as well as some kind of termination, where you wake up and say, you know what, I don't need this, I don't need that. And you might look at somebody and say, you know what, I don't need you either. So those are the things that may manifest itself. As for the last week, you'll find that you'll be standing on your own. You will decide after all of that, after all those commitments, you'll find that the first commitment is to yourself. And once you commit yourself to be true to yourself, then you can follow through easy on all other commitments around. Now, what signs are likely to be favored? Those under the signs of Taurus and Libra, or if you're born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month. The color to wear for everybody, since it's a 6 universal month, will be rose, soft blue, pastel yellow, and mint green. And the stone or crystal to wear or carry over and above shungite is pink opal, kunzite, pink moonstone, and thurlite. Thulite. Okay. The best time to buy a car in May, the 6th and the 17th. Start a business, that's on the 24th. If you want to buy electronics, that's the 8th, the 17th, the 25th, and the 27th of the month of May. If you want to break a habit, look for the 10th, the 12th, and the 13th as ideal dates to do so. If you want to make your hair grow, the 17th, the 20th, and the 30th is also ideal. However, if you want to cut it back, that would be the week of the 3rd through the 7th, the 11th, and the 14th through the 16th. And if you want to ask for a loan, anytime between the 20th and the 23rd will be ideal according to the almanac I use. The cities that are likely to be in the news are Helena, Gallup, Stanford, Augusta, and Monterey, California. Next, we go through June. As for June, the theme is Secrets Revealed. I know you're saying, Stray, what in the world are you talking about? But let me explain. Because I took 2026 and added it to the 6th calendar month of June, that adds up to 16. Now, the 16 is called the Lightning Struck Tower. It's a picture of a man struck by a bolt of lightning, crown on his head, he's all of that, and he's humbled and knocked to the ground. So sometimes it denotes disappointments in plans, dangers from the natural forces. So since we're in an air period, that means anything related to air, airplanes, anything, whatever the case is, there might be a little kind of concern about those kinds of things. So just be mindful of that. On the 14th is a new moon. On the 29th is a full moon. And on the tail end of June, Mercury goes retrograde until July 23rd. So anything you have to do, try to do it up until no later than the 22nd of June, because then you're going to start feeling the rays or the shadow of this Mercury retrograde, because they're all under water signs this year. So this is the second one for the year, okay? In the first week, though, and see, here's what I'm saying about a 7. When you're in a 7 universal month and it's about secrets revealed, it's like you find out things about yourself. You find out things about others. You have the most interesting dreams where you wake up and say, what was that about? Okay? It's like, it makes you get to the bottom of things. It's not that things happen, but in this cycle of June, you want to know, why did it happen? Let us go down the rabbit hole and see what's going on. Okay? So you can't be speaking in general, well, you know what I mean. No, I don't know what you mean. That is a part. It almost sounds like Mercury retrograde, but in the 7th cycle, it makes you very, very specific to tune in on what is going on. All righty? For most of you, you should try to meditate or find quiet space at some point during your period. And in the first week, you're going to make an assessment about your finances. You're going to weigh your options, weigh the plus and the minuses, and come up with a conclusion that you feel is best for you. In the second week of the 8th through the 14th, there's going to be this desire to kind of, shall we say, close the books, to kind of get rid of anything that you feel you've no longer grown. Because see, in a 7th cycle, and see, here's the thing about a 7. We live in a world that's very material and very emotional. Well, 7 is spiritual. It's a cycle that says all of you should be about seekers of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And it's a cycle that says in the month of June, don't chase after what you want. You magnetize it by thinking about it. What do I mean? You know how you have these vision boards where you put cars and dollar bills and yachts and all that stuff on the board? Where you put everything here on the mental screen of your mind. And whatever you want, you see it there and you hold on to it. And as the elders used to say, you let go and let God, and it will come to you. So if there's things that you're searching for, but because it's 16 that denotes dangers from the natural forces, disappointments in love and marriage, and things of that nature, just be a little mindful. And it's not being paranoid. It's just what the 16th card in the tarot deck denotes. Don't take my word for it. You can look it up yourself. Okay. But in the first week, it means make an assessment about your finances. In the second week, you make an assessment about what you want to do to inspire humanity, inspire the people around you, and also make an assessment of what you feel you really, really need to let go, no matter how things appear on the surface. But by the third week of the 15th through the 21st, now you're going to make this kind of inner decision about, okay, this is the way I want to go. It's not about where you guys want to take me, because everybody can give advice because they're not going to pay the consequences if things don't turn out correct. So you have to do what is best for you. That is the thing you have to do. It's going to be in the tail end that you reach an 11 universal week. So combined with the 7 cycle that you're in for June, with that 11 week, look for all kinds of being inspired to do things on a grand scale. Don't let you be at a bus stop and you get this crazy idea, of like genius, okay? Make sure you make a note of it. Don't say, well, I'll write it down when I go home. No, put it in your phone or whatever case you're to do. Your idea, write it down. It's going to be a very inspiring week in the tail end from the 8th through the 14th. Now, what signs are likely to do well? That's going to be Pisces and Cancer, or if you're born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, and the 29th, June is your month, no question. Now, what color should you wear? Regardless, for everybody during that month is indigo, earth green, eggplant, white, and plum. As for the stone or crystal to carry, over and above shungite, I know you're going to get it, but let me tell you, look up shungite for yourself and see the benefits of having it, okay? Especially with all these frequencies going everywhere. That would be tanzanite, amethyst, purple moonstone, and sodalite. Those would be the stones or crystals to wear or carry. As for the highlights during the month of June, to buy a car, that's the 13th and the 14th, the 21st. To start a business is on the 21st itself. 2, and don't forget now, these are the times, well, it won't be until the end of the month before we go from Mercury retrograde into July. So to buy electronics, that would be the 4th, the 13th, the 21st. To break a habit, that's the 9th, the 10th, and the 13th of the month. But if you want your hair to grow, that will be on the 17th and the 26th through the 29th of the month. However, if you want to do the reverse and slow it down, that's on the 1st through the 3rd, the 7th and the 8th, followed by the 11th through the 14th and the 30th of the month. But by that time, we're in Mercury retrograde as the 29th. And asking for a loan, the 17th through the 19th, which is great because you won't be too near it. But if you wait until you're near the end of it, things may not go well if you try to apply. The cities that will be favorable will be Columbus and Charlotte, Madison, Portland, and San Jose, California. Now, what about the month of July? Okay, let's take a look. The theme for July, and don't forget, I think the United States will be celebrating 250 years of anniversary. The theme is fitting because it represents economic power. You have more power than you can imagine. Those pennies, those dimes, those nickels. No, okay, so you're not a billionaire, you're not a billionaire. But the point is, when you take the economic power and do things in a collective fashion, you can shake things up. Let's say you have a company that's depending and nobody say shuts it down and not spending a penny, okay? You watch how that corporation or company will bend over backwards to try to get a hold of your pennies, okay? So what I'm saying is economic powers within yourself begin to save. You know, there's this theory. It's not a theory, it's been proven. If you take a penny and double that penny for 30 days, you'll wind up with millions of dollars. So let's say you got a community, right? And everybody's pulling their pennies and doubling it. This is why stores in low-end communities make money, build stores again, because all those pennies keep adding up. So don't take my word for it. Do the math. You take a penny. At first, the first couple of 10, 11, 12 days don't be no deal. One day is 1, the next day is 2, the next day is 4, the next day is 8, then 16, then 24. It sounds like nothing. But by the time you reach the 17th, 18th, 19th day, and by the time you reach the 20-something day, you're running into the hundreds of thousands and close to the millions. That is economic power to exercise during the period of July. There's going to be a new moon on the 14th, a full moon on the 29th. So, since it's an 8 universal month, which is why rules power, because, see, 8 is associated with finances, real estate, banking, law, working for the government. So in the first week, you'll be in a 9 week, which is excellent to cut your losses. Sometimes we spend out of impulse rather than necessity. And the way this country is going and everything is overpriced and whatnot, you need to seriously weigh whatever you buy. Does it serve value? Is it of a necessity or is it of an indulgence? Right now, I think the way things are going to be going, people are going to be depending on what is necessary first and foremost. You might want to get a car, but you need to pay the rent or the mortgage, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But in the second week, it allows you more sense to kind of like, okay, make a fresh start, begin to look forward to how you can make the most of what you have in your economic power, because that's the theme of it for all of us, to make the best of what we have in hand, to count those pennies, okay? And in fact, they stopped manufacturing pennies, I think, back in 2025, I think, late 24, 25, okay? So pennies are going to be very valuable after a while. And by the way, if you got a penny from 1982 down, it's made of copper. Pennies made from 1983 up is not made of copper. And copper is going to be a very precious metal to have in your possession too. So all those pennies will make sense. Now, as you go into the second week, it means somewhere collaborating with somebody, team working for your economic power. Let's say you got one person trying to do something, but they can pull it with 20 people doing the same thing. Not only does it make your load easier, but you can extend things more. So that's how you got to think going into the second week. Who can I partner with? Who can I team up with going in the same direction as me, where our financial goals or objectives are similar? And you'll find that we'll do very well. In the third week, it says, the last week, it just says, I should say, be careful of overindulging, okay? But there is going to be something where that's going to give an opportunity for things to open up. But at the same time, use your more creative and imaginative skill sets to kind of how you can make more money, budget your money better, and things of that nature. The signs that are likely to do well during the month of July are Capricorn, Aquarius, and Libra, or they'll be born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month. Now, the color to wear for all of us during the month of July is charcoal, jet black, dark gray, and navy. The stone or crystal to wear or carry should be black diamond, onyx, hematite, and black opal. Now, let's say you want to buy a car in July. The best dates, according to the almanac, would be on the 11th and the 18th. To start a business, there's no ideal date. And don't forget, Mercury is going to be retrograde from the latter part of June, the 29th, going into the 23rd. So I wouldn't buy. Now, electronics, it says on the 1st, the 11th, the 19th, and the 29th. I'd wait till the 29th, because since it's going from June the 29th to July 23rd, it simply means that, yes, it says it's ideal, but you should double check, make sure everything is working, put a warranty on it if you got to get it on the 1st, 11th, 19th. By the 29th, you should be kind of out of the woods. To break a habit should be the 10th through the 12th, but you should be determined. And when you do it, can't be half-stepping with Mercury being retrograde, because the rules of mental faculties, you know, what's they say, the mind is weak. No, the mind is strong and the body is weak, or the body is strong and the mind is weak, or something of that nature. So if you're going to do this, break this habit, you got to be straight on and prepare yourself with Mercury retrograde, because then it's like, I don't feel like doing it right now. And so don't fool yourself. Now, if you want to cut your hair, that's on the 14th and the 23rd through the 27th of the month. However, if you want to slow it down, it's the 5th and the 8th through the 11th to do so. And to ask for a loan, that's the 14th through the 16th of the month. The cities that are likely to do well are Buffalo, Rockford, Lexington, Tulsa, and Temple, Arizona. Now, what about August? All righty. So let's see what we have for the month of August. Well, the theme for August, believe it or not, is humanitarian work. It's going to be a 9 universal month. Technically, it's going to be 18. Here's what I'm saying. You take 2026, you add the 8th calendar month, it adds up to 18, and 18 is called the power of mediumship. It means to go in and out of the visible and invisible world. So that's what's going to be happening. So some of you are going to have some of the most weirdest dreams or experiences, some of the most insightful things, and you don't know where in the world they're coming from. But that is likely to be the case. It is going to be a time when it says humanitarian work, be humane. That is the point of a 9. Yes, 9 is governed by Mars, which is war. But on the other side of the equation, the other side of hate and ugliness represents that we're all here. We all live and breathe. We all serve a destiny and a reason for being here. And it is your best to inspire people to be their best, to motivate, to kind of like encourage people. And you'll be surprised how this will spread and help you all around. Now, there's going to be a new moon on the 12th and a full moon on the 28th in the month of August. On the first week, it indicates if you need to decide what you need to get rid of, that first week is going to be ideal. Let's say in 2025, you tried to end something and it was still trying to hold on to the last, you know what I'm saying, the last leg. That first week, it says, okay, that's it. That's it. Enough is enough. You got to go. It's in the second week where there's going to be a little conflict. One thing is going to be demanding of one thing of you, which is forcefulness. And yet that week says you got to be patient no matter how much you want to force yourself on others or force your way through a situation. Patience, and you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like Mother Nature is saying, just be patient. You'll get there. You need to just take your time. The third week, though, everything opened up from the 15th to the 21st. That's going to allow you the opportunity to be more kind of creative and imaginative. It's going to increase your ambition, your goals to do things. And it's going to be in the last week where you will have a sense of really laying the foundation or the cornerstone to the things you want to get done to fulfill your dreams. Also terminate any last minute things that have been hanging on, whether they're individuals, habits, customs, whatever the case is, and begin to move forward as you go into the month of September. Now, who's likely to do well in August are Aries, Scorpio, and Leo, or if they're born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month. The favorite colors to wear should be maroon, mulberry, scarlet, and burgundy. The stone or crystal to wear or carry, in addition to shungite, you know how I feel about shungite, should be rhodonite, bloodstone, red topaz, and fire opal. Now, the almanac. You want to buy a car in August? Well, the 7th and 8th looks ideal. Start a business, there's really no ideal date. But to buy electronics, that's the 7th, the 15th, the 16th, and the 25th of the month. Then if you want to break a habit, that's the 7th through the 9th and the 11th of the month. But let's say you want to really make your hair grow. Well, that will be ideal from the 20th through the 21st. But if you want to do the reverse of your hair and slow it down, that would be the 1st, the 4th through the 8th, and the 11th of the month. And if you want to ask for a loan, the most ideal date from the almanac will be on the 13th. The cities that are likely to do well in the news in some way will be Phoenix, Philadelphia, Denver, El Paso, and Detroit, Michigan. All righty. So now we're in the month of September. And what does it say? Well, the beautiful part about September is whatever the universal year is, so is the universal month. And when I added 2026 to the 9th calendar month, that gave me 19, and that denotes honor, success, and esteem. It's called the Prince of Heaven. Honor, success, and esteem. So all of you, and the theme is making your mark. That's exactly what you should do. Make your mark, make your stamp, make your impression on people. And I'm not talking about in a braggadocious way, in a way that sounds narcissistic, okay, or overbearing, but by making your mark through being authentic, through being a person of your word, through actions. You know what I'm saying? Where it's a show me better than tell me, to make your mark in a way that sets the stage for the rest of the balance of the year from October through December. Okay? There's going to be a new moon on the 10th, a full moon on the 26th of the month. You're going to find in the very first week, it's going to be in a 2. So that means for people who are very serious in their intentions and really striking out on their own, the first week will do that, because the whole month of September is about you're in a 1 year, you're in a 1 month, and thus again, make your mark. Make your presence felt. And you can do that by teaming up with each other on the first week and the second week of the 8th through the 14th, especially when you want to push your career. You want to push your name and reputation. Well, that will be the most ideal week to do so. And then if you want to kind of like lay the building block, the cornerstone, the blueprint to the things you need to do for the balance of the month of September, that will be the week of the 15th to the 21st. But it also means allow some flexibility and allow for kind of things that wasn't thrown into the mix. But if you want to change the equation of your life, that will be in the very last week where opportunities will present itself. Be confident and truthful in your honesty with people. Speak your truth. And you will find that things will go your way, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities as well as a chance to travel too. Now, who is likely to fare well in the month of September? That would be Leo, Aquarius, and Aries, or people that are born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, the 28th, or the 31st of the month. So every sign gets a chance throughout the month at some point. Now, the colors to wear is crimson, gold, copper, and saffron. The stone or crystal to wear or carry should be sunstone, red jade, cinnabar quartz, and ruby. And as for the almanac, you want to buy a car or considering it in September, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 30th looks good. For business, no ideal date. But to buy electronics, that's the 3rd, the 12th, the 22nd, 23rd, and the 30th of the month. If you want to break a habit, that's the 5th, as well as the 7th through the 9th to do so. Let's say you want to make your hair grow. Well, that's the 16th through the 20th, the 24th, and the 25th. Those are the ideal dates. However, on the reverse side, to slow it down, that's the 1st through the 4th, the 7th, the 28th, and the 30th of the month. And finally, to ask for a loan, no ideal date is there either. As for the cities that are likely to dominate the news, will be Atlanta, Reno, Irving, Alameda, and Emporia, Illinois. All righty. Now, what about the month of October, shall we say? Now, this is very important because October actually sets the stage for the year to come, which is 2027, which adds up to an 11 master universal year. Now, in this case, when I added 10 to 2026, which is a 10, that gave me 20. Now, this is called the awakening. This is called the card of where you see a picture symbol of a man, a woman, and a child And it's kind of like a trumpet. It all depends on what tarot card is using it. But the point is, you see this man and woman and child somewhat elevating themselves, reaching it. That's why it's called the awakening. And the theme is delicate decisions. Just don't make any arbitrary decisions. Make delicate decisions because it's toward the tail end of the month of October on the 24th through the 13th. Mercury will go retrograde for the last time that year. So the first part, we're in the air sign of Libra, but after the 22nd, 23rd, you'll be into the water period, and that's when Mercury will kick in and last one last time from the 24th to the 13th. Now, the new moon is on the 10th and the full moon's on the 26th, but in this first week, it simply suggests that whatever decisions you make of a delicate nature, you do it that affects your career. You do it that affects your name, your reputation, and your goodwill for the most part. You do it with a sense that brings about a sense of camaraderie with people who share a common ambition or goal as you do toward an objective. It's in the second week that you go through a thing whereby now I need a sense of order and direction. And so it's the kind of decisions you make. And because it requires that you go into as much detail as possible, just don't make willy-nilly decisions, because the whole theme is about delicate decisions of consequences. Just don't throw something out there. You got to make sure, you got to check with all the details, okay? That's how that works. And if you can do that, it would be to your advantage, all right? Going into the third week, I should say, well, let me see this. In the first week, it indicates things open up. And the second week, getting things together the way you want to. It's in the third week that gives you an opportunity to pivot, to make a shift, to go in the direction you finally want for your betterment, not the betterment of other people. And so toward the last week is going to be best for anything relating to romance and financial matters. But it simply means making a delicate decision, not impulsive decisions, delicate decision. There's a difference. Now, who's going to do well? Cancers and Taurus throughout the whole month, or anybody born on the 2nd to 7th, the 11th to 16th, the 20th, 25th, or the 29th of the month. And the favorite color to wear is silver and powder blue and pastel yellow and soft green. And the stone or crystal to wear or carry, believe it or not, should be moonstone, selenite, white sapphire, and blue fluorite. Now, you want to buy a car in October? Well, the best times would be doing it. It'd be the 1st, the 17th, the 1st, the 7th, the 17th, and the 28th. There's no ideal date for really starting a business. If you want to buy electronics, that would be the 9th, 18th, and 28th of the month. But don't forget, Mercury goes retrograde. So anything, I would stop at October 20th. Anything past there, when Mercury starts going retrograde, is going to kind of be at least up until mid-November. I'd say that would be the chance to kind of like, don't commit yourself too much, okay? But especially if you buy electronics. But that would be on the 9th, 19th, and 28th of the month. The 28th I would avoid, because you're definitely in Mercury retrograde then. To break a habit, it would be the 4th through the 6th. To cut your hair, that would be the 14th through the 17th, as well as the 22nd of the month. But to slow it down, it would be the 1st, the 4th, the 27th, and the 28th of the month. And to ask for loan, well, that's going to be on the 25th. And with Mercury going retrograde on the 24th, the day before then, just be cautious. Read the fine print, double check, and don't ask for more than you can handle. That would be the best ideal. Now, what cities are going to be in the news? It's going to be Temple, Texas, Tacoma, Washington, Raleigh, North Carolina, Irvine, and Austin, Texas. Okay, now we go into the month of November. Now, in November, the theme for November is enthusiasm. Now, what does that mean? Kind of put some spunk into it, okay? Listen, by the time we hear all the bad news and this, that, and the high prices, we can really get in the funk and get depressed. But what you want to do is turn that into, you want to turn that, what they call that lemon into lemonade, to begin to look on the brighter side of it. Sometimes when we go through these crises, it's actually designed to make us grow. Well, you'll be in a 3 universal month. It's going to be a 21, which is called the World card, which means a long test of initiation. And for those of you who hang in there, you will get your just desserts. Okay. The point is try not to overextend yourself. Make sure you don't put your name and your reputation at risk. Some of us who will be falling far behind in our bills will affect our credit, which affects our ratings, that affect the ability to get loans. But the point is you have the enthusiasm to do the best you can. There's going to be a new moon on the 9th and a full moon on the 24th. The first week is saying, okay, I understand this is a period of good luck and expansion and creativity, but right now I got to figure out a way to be a little bit more organized going about that exact thing. So whatever my goals and ambition are, I need to have a kind of order to it, a kind of a blueprint, so to speak, so that I know that point A leads to point B and point B leads to point C, et cetera, to get from one point to another. It's in the second week that'll give you an opportunity to either do some traveling or begin to figure out how you can turn things around in your life. But enthusiasm goes a long way. Enthusiasm, is very contagious. Have you ever seen when somebody get excited? It kind of like brings on that energy where everybody want to get excited up in that puppy. So if you can kind of keep that energy, that's exactly what you will draw to you. You will draw the kind of type of people that are enthusiastic about what you're doing as well as you are. And this will help you to the next level, especially in the third week, because that deals with finances as well as relationships. So generate that kind of thing where people won't mind helping you and people won't mind being drawn to you in ways that could lead to romance. Who knows? You never know. But it also means also about self-improvement, losing weight, going back to school, straightening up your house, things of that nature. The last week is going to be the time where it's going to allow you that, although there's going to be a lot of things going on, to breathe, to go somewhere where there's the sand and the sea and the sun, to kind of like really, really kind of take a breather, as they say. Now, what signs are likely to do well will be Sagittarius and Pisces, or anyone born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th of the month. The color to wear throughout the month of November will be lavender, fuchsia, chartreuse, and royal blue. And the stone or crystal to carry over and above shungite is amethyst, turquoise, citrine, and rose quartz. Now, let's say you want to buy a car for November. Well, the 4th, 13th, and 24th, the almanac says will be ideal dates. Then next would start a business. That would be the 24th. That's leading up to Thanksgiving week. I think it's on the 28th, I believe. Well, it's somewhere around that time. To buy electronics, that would be the 5th, the 15th, the 24th. But then if you want to break a habit, the 2nd day of the month of November would be ideal to do it. Okay. Let's say you want your hair to grow. That would be the 10th through the 10th through the 14th, the 18th, 19th, 22nd, and 23rd of the month. But to do just the opposite, to slow it down, that would be the 25th and the 28th to do so. And as for asking for a loan, that would be the 22nd and the 23rd. Now, the cities that will be important in the news this way will be Toledo, Fresno, Yuma, Flint, as well as Lansing, Michigan. And saving the last month for the year, well, believe it or not, that's going to be a master number 22 universal month. And the theme is commitment to purpose. Now, what do I mean? I know you're going to ask. Here's what I mean. It's one thing to have a purpose, but it's another thing to have a commitment to that purpose. Well, I'm going to do this. And, talk is cheap. So what you want to do as you close out this year of 2026 is make sure that whatever purpose you establish, you commit yourself to following it from beginning to the end. By doing so, you'll wind up being one of the most satisfied persons on this planet. There'll be a new moon on the 8th, a full moon on the 23rd. This commitment will allow you to expand your horizons, to approach the month with visionary things, lofty ideas. But see, the nice thing about the year that we'll all be ending on is going to take a lot of ideas and concepts that we've been having at the back of our minds and try as best we can to make them concrete, tangible, touchable, where we can kind of like feel it and examine it and get some form and fashion to it. So it's going to be very important. In the first week, it means there's going to be a change about the way you do things. There's going to be an opportunity to really turn things around, but especially to hold on to your commitments and make sure that whatever you're doing, and this is going to be kind of like crazy during the second week of the 8th through the 14th, because it's going to be kind of conflictual. You know, part of the December energy will be kind of on the rebellious side, but yet that second week will be on the conservative side. So it simply means finding that balance. But again, it's about commitment to purpose. Don't lose sight of it. Okay, that's going to be most important to you. And the third week is going to be ideal to stop, look, and listen, to kind of lay back and reflect. And if you ever need some space to yourself, a moment to hear yourself think, that will be the ideal week just leading up to the Christmas holidays from the 15th through the 21st. And in fact, if you can meditate, if you follow spirit, there will be some things that will guide you mysteriously that may open up more doors than you can imagine. As you go into the final week of December, it's going to say, okay, take a look at your finances, get ready to greet the new year coming up with 2027, because it's going to be a year of revelation anyway. And those under the signs of Leo and Aquarius and Cancer will be the beneficiaries. But at this point, what you want to do is end the month of December off on a note that leads to a solid foundation to kind of build something that lasts for your career, your reputation, your job or profession. And also in the course of it, you're going to be doing a lot of growing up in the process. Now, who is likely to help you in the month of December? That would be Aquarius, Leo, and Gemini, or anyone born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. The color to wear for December is deep blue, burgundy, black onyx, and platinum. The stone or crystal to wear or carry in addition to shungite should be garnet, obsidian, lapis lazuli, and malachite. Now, you want to buy a car? Well, if you're thinking of it, the ideal dates according to the almanac will be the 2nd, 21st, 22nd, 27th. If you want to start a business, that's the 21st. If you want to buy electronics, that's the 2nd, the 12th, the 13th, 21st, and 30th of the month. And then let's say you want to break a habit, that's the day before Christmas on the 24th. But that's kind of hard because, you know, Christmas is like close to Thanksgiving where people want to eat and go out. So it all depends on what your habit is you want to break. To grow your hair, the 9th through the 11th, followed by the 15th, 16th, 19th through the 22nd. I may have said that fast, so let me slow up. The 9th through the 11th, the 15th to 16th, the 19th through the 22nd. To make it slow, that's the 7th, the 8th, and the 25th of the month. And as for loan, to ask for a loan, the ideal time will be the 19th and the 21st of the month. And finally, the cities that are likely to make the news as we close out the year will be Auburn, Rogers, Laredo, Durham, and Mobile, Alabama. And there you have it, Miss Kimbaley.
Wow, that was amazing. You know what? I feel like I'm ready for 2027 now. You wrote the entire book for 2026. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I want to let everybody know if you're interested in getting this in newsletter form, because each month Lloyd sends out a monthly newsletter, and for each month he takes these forecasts and sends it out in written form so that you can read it and be able to see what he's saying when he does the video. So if you're interested, make sure that you go to his site, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, and make sure that you subscribe to the website so that you can get that newsletter. And this will be available to you soon as well for those who sign up for it. But I appreciate you so much. You did a wonderful job breaking all of that information down for us. How do you do
I
it?
got plans for 2027.
What's the plans for
I ain't telling you. I
2027?
ain't telling you. You gotta wait.
You never tell me. You never tell me.
Every time I start something, I get more ideas. I don't know where it comes from or where the inspiration comes from. But I will say this. For those of you, this is probably my busiest time of the year. We're going into the year. So if you want a consultation, just go to lloyd-strayhorn.com, click on the consultation link, and schedule a date and time that's convenient for you. Also, if you want to get my Star 8 app, that's my mobile app, it's my pride and joy. It'll tell you how to time the things and whatnot. Just go to lloyd-strayhorn.com and click on the Star 8 and download it on your Android or iPhone. Also, the newsletter is free and everything else like that. But I would be remiss if I did not congratulate Miss Kimbaley for writing her book, The Business of Numerology. Yay! I want everybody to pick up a copy, okay? We all got to help each other up in this piece, okay? It's her year. She's a Leo, so y'all show out for the sister, okay? And that's all. See, she's shy. She ain't gonna say nothing. That's why I gotta say it, because she won't say it. So get her book, have it. And by the way, for those of you who get it on ebook, you get this companion book that tells you, like, for example, a lot of people are out of work right now, okay, or looking for work. And sometimes if you worked in a job so long, you don't seem to know what else to do. Well, if you pick up her book, The Playbook to Numbers, it's got over for all the signs, all the birthdays. You can't help but decide that, oh, yeah, I forgot I could do this or that. So it's very helpful. So please pick up the book. It is called The Business of Numerology. That's available on Amazon. And if you buy the book, please write a kind of review and screenshot it and send it to Kimbaley, KIMBALEY.com. She will give you an assessment of your business, metaphysically speaking. Okay. And if Evangeline Adams helped JP Morgan out, I don't see why Miss Kimbaley can't help her brother or sister out up in this piece. That's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. And I do want to let people know, if you are interested, I know I heard Lloyd talk about a few moments ago, if you're interested in starting your own business and you like astronumerology, you've been paying attention to it, and you decide that maybe you want to become a practitioner yourself. Um, I have a link that'll be in the bio, and also it'll be right above you. You can click on that link and get on the wait list for the practitioner program for astronumerology that will be coming up in February. This is an amazing workshop for you to join. So make sure that you just click on the wait list, get on the wait list. And thank you so much for comment and let us know in the comment section what you're looking forward
Yeah.
to in 2026. Do you have anything new planned? Is there something that you want to start? Because whatever you start now is going to um it's going to be there for the next 9 years. So, what are you trying to start? Let us know that. And also, shout out your zodiac signs so we know who we're talking to or who's watching, who's viewing. I have a question about one of the things that you said throughout the forecast when you said no ideal date. What would you suggest for those times that there's no ideal date? Let's say, for instance, I heard for a start a business, a month or two, I heard there's no ideal date. But what if somebody really wants to start a business in that month? What should they do?
That is a great question. Here's what they do. Let's say you got somebody born on the 2nd. and there's no ideal date there. Well, what that person do is pick a date that adds up to a 2 or a 7. These are interchangeable numbers. So let's say they really trying to go, so they'll go on the 2nd to 7th, the 11th to 16th, because 1 and 1 is 2, the 16, 1 plus 6 is 7, the 20th, 2 plus 0 is 2, the 25th, 2 plus 5 is 7, or the 29th of the month. But this is especially so if Mercury is retrograde. Listen, if Mercury is retrograde and there's no ideal date, that's great. But these Mercury retrogrades are really no joke. There have been histories of companies that went into business in a retrograde period only to break up right after that to start all over again. So, I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm just saying the way the cosmos works. If it says it's going to rain, okay, and you don't go out there with no umbrella and it rains and you get drenched, can't be said we ain't had this conversation. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I also want to let people know, especially if you are a business owner or are one of those people that are thinking about starting a business, please be on the lookout for the universal business forecast for 2026 because that'll be coming up soon as well. So I want to ask you, Lloyd, do you have any closing words for us today?
Yes, I do understand that you're heading into a year that will literally set the stage for the next 9 years. This is why you have to be intentional. You can't go through 2026 on impulse or whatever. Know what you want, even if you can't achieve it. That's why I was saying at the top of our interview that let's say you want to move, but you can't move right now. So logistically, financially, whatever the case is, don't lose sight of your goals that you want to set for the year. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may take 5 years, but the point is, if you hold and plant the seeds, because that's what a one cycle is. It's like planting the seeds of your desires, planting the seeds of your intentions. Now, for those of you who lived in the country, when you plant a seed, the thing ain't gonna grow like just overnight. There's a stage that you go through. But if you plant the seeds carefully, plant the right seeds in rich soil, it will germinate and eventually you will take that fruit to market. By the way, the predominant color for Leos for 2026 is yellow. You hot girl. Seriously, seriously. That is the dominant color. Yellow, orange, red. So for everybody. I started to wear my yellow shirt, but they swear I was copying you. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's so awesome being in having Leo season for the whole year.
You're so selfish, but I like it though. Every now and then you gotta be
You
selfish.
said be selfish.
Yes, you do. And not at the expense of others, but selfish in the sense of making sure that you don't lose sight. Because everybody said, well, you should do this. If I was you, I should do that. Well, you maybe should do this. So we get all these voices coming at us from different directions. And if you're not focused in your intentions, you'll get distracted and it'll make you waver. So plant your seeds, stick by it is, whether people accept it or not. That's not your problem. Your thing is to set the tone of what you expect over the next 9 year cycle. Simple. It's one of the few cycles where you got to be selfish. And I tell everybody that. What's in it for me? What do I get out of it? And if you think like that, ain't that you can't help other people, but you cannot help other people unless you have your own house in order. That's it.
And I pretty much agree with the year. I'll just remind everybody this is the year for you to be setting those intentions. If there's things that you've been wanting to do for a long time, use this year to really step out there on faith to try some of those things that you have perhaps been afraid of. It's also the year of the spotlight. You know, whether you want it or not, you might find yourself in the spotlight this year. So be careful at how you carry yourself because people may be watching and you don't even see it. And when think selfish, I'm just joking around with it, but I look at it as we look at selfish sometimes in a bad way. And so I would say if you can't be selfish, be self first or self full this year to make sure that you are really taking care of yourself and putting yourself first, as Lloyd mentioned earlier. But I'm wishing everyone a great 2026. I hope that all your wishes come true. And I hope that for everybody, for the overall climate of our planet, our society that we're in now, I hope everything shifts for the better and that the positive expression will come out of this year more so than the negative
I
expression.
say, and please leave your comments, suggestions, good, bad, or indifferent. Uh, this is our third time of doing the yearly forecast, and we have done nearly 22 consecutive monthly forecasts. So that people seem to like and enjoy. So a lot of this inspiration comes from you, the viewers. So we're kind of depending on your input. It's very motivational. It makes us get up here and come and think of ideas, Um, so that's all I can think of. And so thank you very, very much. And all of you have a wonderful, wonderful year for 2026. And God bless you all. Bye.